Yo, my name's Tamon Pearson. I am chief of the Civil Rights Movement. Civil rights, you asking, what is that? That's where we use economic means to fight racism in America and to promote our own culture as black people. Our ancestors fought for civil rights. We fighting for civil rights. Civil rights means we take everything that we need by economic means. The marches are cool. All of that stuff is cool. But what we do is we doing this by building black businesses, by promoting black entrepreneurs, all black everything. That's what I talk about. So look, I did this post, right? I was talking about Will Smith and what happened at the Oscars. You know, I was going over the post. And what happened was I mentioned a couple different white guys. Victor Salva, that's the director of Jeepers Creepers, who got busted, literally did time for child molestation. I mentioned Kevin Spacey, who got 1 million cases. Not 1 million, but you know what I'm saying. He got all these cases because he can't keep his hands to himself with other people. You know, molesting and raping all kinds of folks. His career has pretty much been canceled over it, right? Stay with me. I mentioned Brett Ratner, who used to be a pretty big director in Hollywood. But ever since all these sexual assault cases, he really ain't working very much. I mentioned Alec Baldwin and Charlie Sheen, who literally shot people. Like, people have literally had bullets in them or killed in the case of Alec Baldwin because of what they did, right? Whoops. Then I mentioned Robert Blake, who was found liable for the death of his wife, who he murked. He got off, but he murked that lady. And there was one more white cat, Woody Allen, who ended up having an affair with his adopted daughter and marrying her. And it was pretty much a scandal back in the day, right? Okay, so these are all these white guys I mentioned. What I also mentioned about all these white people is not near one of them, not near one, got banned from the academy. You could argue that their careers got canceled, but nobody, the academy, this moral academy that we all have been talking about, nobody came out and said, well, these guys need to be removed from the academy, right? Stay with me. So these guys all got removed. But Will Smith, squeaky clean Will Smith, who ain't never had a problem before with the academy at all, right? Will Smith gets a 10-year ban. You are not allowed to do anything with the academy for 10 years. I mean, you can win an Oscar, but you're not a member of the academy. Let's let that sink in, okay? I need y'all to let this part sink in. These other men have done heinous crimes, even shot people, and we all know about it. But the main problem that everybody was having on my page when I posted this, the main problem that everybody had was, well, that happened in private and he did this in public. So it's better, according to the rest of the planet, it's better to molest a kid in private than it is to slap a grown man in public. I started to say something else, but I'm not going to say it that way. But when I say grown man, I know what I'm talking about. So look, people got real hot at the post and whatnot, because, like, how dare you try to justify what Will Smith did. My whole point that I keep saying, and then I'm going to keep saying to y'all too, I didn't say Will shouldn't get punished. It's debatable. Should he have gotten punished? Maybe. I believe black men should protect their women. So, I don't know. What I did say was, child molesters and people who have shot people didn't get put out the academy. Ironically, these child molesters and rapists and whatnot all seem to be white people. But this black guy, who was at one of the highest levels that a black man can get to, is the one who got attacked. So, what I said was, this is what's going to happen. Watch this. And this made people just as mad as me justifying Will Smith. Watch this. I said that what's going to happen with Will Smith is that Spike Lee's going to step up, and Tyler Perry's going to step up, and the projects that have gone on hold because they calling themselves canceling Will, Jay-Z will fund them, and Diddy will fund them, and you're about to see Black Hollywood back up Will, because Will's been that dude, and Black Hollywood is going to be tired of having to bow down every time Hollywood says something. So, people got so mad. People got hot and heated. I think the last I checked, there was some like 30,000 shares of this whole post. And folks is like seriously mad, dog. I mean, like, they're angry that I had the audacity and gall to try to say that what Will did was okay. Nah, fam, that is never what I said. We can have an argument about what dog did when he went upside somebody's head about his wife. But we can't not argue. What is inarguable is that this man has got a 10-year ban when ain't none of these ever got bans for nothing they did. Nobody but this black dude. Like, people have gotten bans from the academy for like bootlegging. And finally, later on down the line, as time went on, finally, Harvey Weinstein, who's been one of the most horrible people in Hollywood for decades, but everybody was still kissing his behind. Harvey Weinstein and what's other loser's name? Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski literally raped a chick and fled. And the Academy gave this dude who fled the country after a rape, the Academy gave him an Oscar. Do you understand what I'm saying? They gave him an Oscar, but did not ban him from the Academy until after everything happened with Weinstein, and then they went ahead and let go of Cosby, and then they went ahead and let go of some other people. But in the history of the Academy, of the Film Academy, going back to the 20s, in that entire history, 6 people have been banned, including Cosby, Weinstein, and Roman Polanski. You know who wasn't on the list? Victor Salva, Alec Baldwin, the 7 white men that I named. You can add Will Smith, who slapped somebody at the Oscars, to that list. And that's an utterly ridiculous thing. And I got people right now who are heated at me. They are hot at me because I had the audacity and gall to say, I forget what the Oscars do. Go ahead and do what you do. And this brings me full circle to what I'm talking about, to what I always talk about. Black people in this country have constantly had to shuffle and shuck and jive to do whatever they can to keep the white power structure happy. This is not debatable. This is something that has always happened. We have always had to do that. We have always had to do what we needed to do to keep them happy. That's why they say stuff. You've heard people say stuff about this whole Oscar thing like, oh, this makes the rest of us look bad. Alec Baldwin don't make white people look bad. But Will Smith makes black people look bad. You know why? Because we spend our entire lives trying to bow down to what they do. That's what we always do. And that's what we can't have no more, fam. And that's what I was talking about. So, since we've always had to do that, one of the things that we need to do is use the power that we have to make sure that we don't have to do that no more. Because that power is there. And that's what I was talking about when I said that Jay-Z is going to do what he's going to do, and Diddy's going to do what he's going to do, and they'll fund the projects, and they'll back up the stuff that people have. Because it don't take a multi-billionaire, dog. All it takes is a network. Tyler got a whole studio. All right. You don't want to work with Will? Go through Tyler Perry Studios. Now all you got to do is buy the theaters for the distribution. And then once you own the distribution, which is doable, especially in a post-COVID climate, people ain't able to go to the theaters anymore. I see AMC's and Pacific theaters failing all the time. Buy up the theaters. Once you buy up the theaters, now you took care of that. You make your films, you distribute the films to the theaters, to the other black theater owners. And now you got a whole little system working that's working outside of the Hollywood mainstream. You know why I know you can do this? Because it happened before. You know how it happened before? It happened with the Jews before. This is the exact way it happened in the Jewish community. You see, back in the day, before there was a really big Hollywood thing, back when you had all of the silent films and all that, Jewish people didn't run Hollywood. WASPs ran Hollywood. Thomas Edison and them. And the Jews bounced because everything was back east, and that's where all the big money was. And the Jews came out and found this empty area that they called Hollywood. And because they were already vaudeville owners, because they were already had all the comics, because they already had the theaters that they were buying for those little Nickelodeon little things, since they already had all of that, all they had to do at that point was then do their own movies. Some people bankrolled it, they had their own system, and bam, the WASPs couldn't even keep up. It was over. People who were making films like Birth of a Nation couldn't even get any more work because the Jews took it over. And they basically created their own niche. Once they created this niche, though, they didn't just create this niche and create this kingdom for the purposes of just being rich. Now they funded their synagogues. They funded their schools. They funded colleges that would promote Jews. In other words, they used the wealth and power that they had to promote their culture. Sound familiar? Here's how this works. And this is what I was talking about. And I really think this is one of the reasons why people were so pissed at what I said. Because if my idea really happens, if I really see it come to pass, if we really go through Tyler and Spike Lee and Denzel and Jay-Z and the other people who can fund it, and then those people fund the education and fund the other things necessary, and then the NBA community, and then the baseball players and the football players all start trickling their money down to our community. And the professionals start making, instead of going and trying to rub elbows with them, they come back to our community and do stuff in our community. This whole Will Smith thing can start a movement that'll make sure that 50 years from now, the idea of a black gang member is laughable. Just like the idea of a black Jewish gangster today is laughable. That's what can happen if these guys do what I'm telling them to do. And that's why people get pissed. Dog, imagine a world where the ownership and control of everything that you do, of everything that you buy, everything that you watch, everything that you go through comes through black channels. Not just black people trying to get rich and doing what Pac and Breed were talking about. I gotta get mine, you gotta get yours. I ain't talking about that. That hyper individualism thing has wrecked our community. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who understand that it's all black everything. So it comes out of studios like Tyler, through directors like Tyler, through producers like Will, and directors like Denzel or Spike. We cast the cast. It comes through the theaters that are owned. Then you even get to the point where you got the concession stands that are owned by black people. It becomes all black everything. And the money and revenue, does it make people rich? Absolutely. But then do they donate to the HBCUs? And do they donate to black law firms and to black banks and to black insurance companies? And do those people then go out and loan to other black companies who have black furniture companies and black owned car lots and all black everything? All the dollars are touched by black people. Then those dollars come down and they help our schools. They help our people. They help move us out of the hood, but they still keep us here. See, and let me see what I mean when I say keep us here. They move us out the hood, but keep us in the black community. See, we can live in the black community without living in the hood. That's the problem. The problem hasn't been the hood. The problem has been the hoodlums. If we could have the hood without all of the issues, man, when I grew up, the hamburger stand on the corner was a black owner. The 2 liquor stores were black people. All of this little community stores around me, and this is only in the 80s in South Central LA, and with black owners and black people, and little by little, the control of the goods and resources of our community trickled away because we didn't care. Oh, but imagine if we cared now. Imagine if it started at the top and worked its way down, and we got to a point where you got the dudes in the hoodlums, you let the hoodlums have the hood. Y'all can have this place. We will build a black community, not a hood. And all of a sudden, you got black homeowners. You got black investors. You have a thriving black middle class that was promoted by the black upper class. And then, when you start talking about politics, now you're talking about something. Because now there's some money behind. Just right now, they just want your vote. All they want you to do is pull levers. Forget if you just pull levers. If you have money behind your vote, now they got to listen to you. Because we say, we'll take our 40 million votes and give it to somebody else. And all of a sudden, you become a very important person. That's what all black everything is for. That's what black wealth is for. Black generational wealth, black control over the goods and resources, that creates political power. When you have political power, you can really make change. Right now, we are at the mercy of both parties because we don't have any money behind us to do what we need to do. And that's why they don't want you to do it. That's both parties, by the way. That's not just Democrats. That's not just Republicans. Neither one of these parties have our vested interests. One party wants us to do stuff for all of their goods and services and causes. In other words, Democrats constantly want you to go run over there and run behind them and follow their causes for everybody else except black people. And Republicans don't really care about you at all. They're not in your community. They're not trying to talk to you about what you need to make changes. They're telling you, you come to us or we don't care. Somebody prove me I'm wrong and tell me about black Republicans who come into the hood and talk about black Republican principles that would help the community, that would help black people. They don't. So that's where my whole thing with this whole Will Smith thing comes from. It starts there. We started there. We do what we need to do there. Will and everybody step up and stop begging Hollywood, but please go ahead and cast us. Please accept us. You don't need their acceptance. We got enough people to start building right here. There are enough black directors, enough black producers, enough blacks with a production company, enough money and power to start with this little group of elites that can spread all the way through, that can spread this wealth all the way through the entire black community. So yeah, I know that's not the real reason why they're upset at the post that I did. They're just thinking that I'm trying to justify black people slapping black people. They don't even understand how mad they are about this black man having this wealth. But I see it as the opportunity at this point to blow this thing up, to blow it up big, to blow it up to the point where we ain't never got to ask white people about nothing again. My name is Tamon Pearson. I am chief of the Civil Rights Movement. Get at me. and watch Will and them blow this thing up. Peace.